Hi, this is Sunandani and I'm doing a video presentation today on DNA data storage technology. So I'm going to talk about what a DNA is and why it's being chosen for data storage, and I'm going to give more details about the DNA and how the data storage is actually done, and also some applications like the DNA chip. Data storage technology has come a long way since punch cards, but the undisputed king of data density is DNA. It turns out that the future is not just about thinking big, it's also about thinking small. DNA is deoxyribonucleic acid. It's present in nearly all living organisms. This essentially carries the genetic instructions used in the growth, development, functioning, and reproduction of all known living organisms and many viruses. It is the programming language of our genetic code, and they are responsible for diversity. Each person, except identical twins, has a unique genome. Fun fact, each person has enough genetic information that if it were stretched out, it would be the equivalent of the distance from the Earth to the Sun 70 times over. So, why is DNA used for data storage? Several organizations face the challenge of storing the ever-growing flood of digitized information. Researches were conducted on encoding data in cells and bacteria, but these eventually die. DNA, on the other hand, is very stable, especially if it's stored in cold, dry, and dark conditions. They have extremely dense information storage. About 1 gram of DNA has stored 700 terabytes of data. Dr. Sriram Kosuri, a scientist at Harvard, believes that all the digital information currently existing in the world could reside in a few grams of synthesized DNA. I'm going to tell a little bit about the DNA structure and how data can be stored in a DNA. So the genetic information is naturally stored within the chemical structure of the molecule DNA. It consists of two backbones which spiral around each other in a well-known double helix. Strings of four chemicals called bases run along the backbones, and the bridges between the bases on opposite backbones are called base pairs. So the four bases are referred to by the letters A, T, C, and G, which are chemical compounds adenine, thymine, guanine, and cytosine. And their order literally spells out the genetic code. Now these are called base pairs because adenine always pairs with thymine and guanine always with cytosine. So how is the data storage done? To store a binary digital file as DNA, the binary digits are converted from 1 and 0 to the letters A, C, G, and T, which correspond to the four chemical bases. The DNA goes into a sequencing machine, which reads back the DNA fragments as the letters A, C, G, and T. This is synthesized by the machine. A program resembles the DNA in the right order and converts them back to ones and zeros. In the end, the ones and zeros are interpreted as the original file. DNA chips made their big splash in 1996 when Santa Clara, California-based Affymetrix introduced the first commercial version. Affymetrix uses light-sensitive chemical reactions to grow a grid-like pattern of as many as 400,000 short DNA strands called probes on a glass wafer. Today, dozens of companies provide DNA chip products and services. With the development of new ways to fabricate the chips, researchers now have the option of buying ready-made chips or buying their own customized chips right in the lab. Now I'm going to talk a little bit about the disadvantages of this. The fastest current technology can sequence DNA on the order of about 1 billion bases per hour. Synthesis is even slower and more expensive as well. Now this is extremely slow compared to the modern storage media, but would be suitable for long-term data storage. The increase in sequencing speed actually exceeds Moore's law. It also has another disadvantage, rewriting. This is essentially a write-once technology, but static data like government and historical records could benefit from this storage option. The speed at which DNA can be sequenced or synthesized is slow, but perhaps someday the speed will be practical. Several experiments are being done to test the capabilities of DNA as a data storage technology. As a proof of concept, a team of researchers encoded the information for several image files in synthetic DNA and successfully sequenced the strands to redraw the pictures. While they only encoded several megabytes of information, the team says that the process could be scaled up to hold much larger databases. In conclusion, storing data in a strand of DNA has one significant drawback: it's slow. Unlike computer chips, which communicate at nearly the speed of light using electrons, DNA data storage relies on physically moving molecules around. Many issues have to be overcome to produce a useful DNA computer. It will certainly not replace the current computers because it's application specific, but it has the potential to replace the high-end research-oriented computers in the future. And also, DNA data storage can be used to preserve massive data archives, such as those used by Facebook and cloud storage services where speed is not as crucial. Thanks for watching.